Hello everybody, it's me. It's 1 in the morning and can't sleep, and yet I feel dead to the world. So I thought, stuff it, I'll do a video add-on to part 5, and I'm gonna now do the flow and tidy it up and sort of do it properly. Problem with the real world scenario videos, as I've noticed, is I wanted to sort of record me building the stuff. Um, but the reality of it is, some of this stuff is a little bit too adventurous to put in a video, because unless you want to sit and watch 1 hour, 2 hour videos, and I've seen some of the training channels doing those 2 hour videos, and it's like you can't watch something for 2 hours and not get hands on and practice. You've got to practice. Without the practice, you can't actually sink it in. So. Apologies if part 5 was a bit rudimentary, it was a bit sort of basic, but the idea was to get across a concept of what I was building. So I'm going to probably do some part A's to sort of go into a bit more detail, and that includes one of these now. So I'm going to start doing that. First thing I'll do is turn the video off. You don't want to see me. Oh yeah, I'm in pajamas, so don't judge me. It's 1 o'clock in the morning. Animal. My favourite Muppet. No, Janice is my favourite Muppet, and then Animal. Donald Trump, Janice, Animal. No, he's not my favourite. He's just a Muppet. Anyway, oh, tiredness just does this to you. Let's get on with it. Okay, right. First things first, I'm going to go in there and change the ownership of that flow. Because at the moment, while it's sitting in that team, I only did that purely for laziness, and also purely to create it in there and show you that you can build them within a team tab. Realistically, because it's an event trigger, the users are not going to need to see that flow. They're just going to do the work. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into that flow. I'm going to remove the Microsoft Office user support environment group members and owners. So I've bin that. Are you sure? If they were providing access to connectors using this flow, they may. No, they weren't. It was only me providing those connections, and Barry's piggybacking on the back of those to sort of look after it for me. That's okay. Good. Now what that means is, if I come back to here, don't be fooled. If I go back to flows now, that flow will disappear because it's no longer a flow managed by the group. That's fine, because if I go into flow, it's still there, and it's a team flow because I've still got multiple owners. I don't like the sigrabab. Good stuff. So I'm going to go into that flow. I keep calling it flow. Power Automate. It's like, it's Microsoft Word. You create a document. It's Power Automate. You create a flow. That's how I'm going to do it. Right, let's get on with this. Power Automate flow, blah blah, workflow. Those are the days. SharePoint workflows, SharePoint Designer. Do you remember that tool? Right, let's go and edit this. So now I'm gonna try not to, because it takes a lot of time to edit and trim when you're doing videos like this. I've seen training companies, training video channels in YouTube, and they sort of do how to do this, and you look at the time and it's like 3 hours, and you think, my brain span can't handle 3 hours. If it's a training online video, which some of them are, that's fine, but a training experience, you don't watch for 3.5 hours. You don't do. You've got to get your hands dirty. You've got to practice. Otherwise, it's just completely. It just goes over your head. You've got to get involved. So the stuff I'm showing you, I'm gonna be recording this, and I'm not gonna edit it. But it's down to you when you want to pause it, give it a go, tackle it yourself, or just take these under as notes. First thing I'm gonna do is I've removed the owners. I've removed the group, the team group from the list. So the send approved email notifications no good anymore. I'm gonna have to replace that with an email, which is no big deal. I prefer the email. fantastic little feature. Got loads of extra bits and bobs and ditties I can do in there. So I'm going to add an action and then open up the Outlook. There we go, and send an email version 2. There we go. And I'm going to cheat here. I'm going to nick all the information from the notification box, and I'm just going to paste it into the email. So the first of all, the 2 is going to be grabbed from the person who's responded to the form, and then the subject will be the content from above. Copy paste, and this should work. Copy paste, there we go. Good, looks like it's all worked. And then I'm just going to put send, rename that. I didn't rename the other ones as well, very naughty. And I try to do a bit of detail, not too long, because you want the keywords at the beginning, because when you go into that dynamic content, if your banner is too long, you really can't, there's no win over that. You can't tell which one's which. So I'm going to delete that one, don't need that anymore. And I'm going to do the same thing over on the other side. I could copy and paste that task. To be honest, this is not going to take any longer. Doing it this way. Send an email. There we go. And same again, grab the content from here, responder, expand that one, and copy. If I'm going too fast for you, never mind. Sorry. It's more about the ideas of tidying up than it is about the how-tos. You know, if you want the how-tos, if you want this in detail, definitely I can do some breakdown videos, but this is just me at 1 o'clock in the morning. It's probably 2 o'clock now. Just tidying this up. I did say I was going to do this real world and online, so I'm doing it, and I just thought I'll give this a go, and if it sounds successful, drop me an email, let me know if you like the 2 in the morning waffles of videos. And not approved. I think I called it on hold, didn't I? See, now I'm not editing, you can see just how terrible my typing really is. Okay, so those are in place, that's all good. The other thing I should have done is, before the channel flow here, is when the user puts in a word, I'm not checking to see if the channel already exists, and even if I did, I have to make sure that I'm checking against an uppercase or lowercase, because if the user puts in Power Apps and I've got it with a capital A and they've typed in with a lowercase a, the flow is case sensitive. It's going to treat that as a false, they don't match, and it's going to try and create it. So I need a way of picking up the channel name that they've provided. Don't forget that's been grabbed from the get response details. And then I need to loop through all of the channel names in the team, and then see if there's a match in any of them. If there is, then do the approval. No, if there is a match, stop. If there isn't a match, then do the approval. So all of this case channel and all this approval stuff in here is going to have to get sort of well, I say move, but I've always had problems trying to move an approval. It just gets a bit of a sticky one. So I'm going to rebuild above that. What I'm going to do is, I've already got the team, but what I like to do is actually put that higher up. So I'm going to get the team early. That way I can go and loop through all the channels. So I'm going to drag that, get a team in, put it there. And I would like to drag that approval below if it lets me. There we go. So very rudimentary this is. So get a team. Now go through all of the channels in the team. Don't even practice what I preach. list channels. There we go. And then get the team ID, which I've already put in here. It's the Microsoft Office User Support Environment. Good. Let's rename that so I know what I'm doing with it. List channels to check against responders. Choice. Now, obviously I'm going to go through all of the teams, so I need to do a for each. So control, apply to each. That's going to loop through every channel, and I'm going to do a condition that checks to see if any channels in the channel list, which I'm picking from there, match. So another control, another condition, and I'm comparing the channel name. But what I want to do is I want to sort of match. I don't want to be forced against case sensitivity if the user doesn't type it in the right casing. So I'm going to force both of them to lowercase and compare them. That way I'm just checking against the spelling. That's the only thing I'm fighting against then. So what I wanted to do is go into the expression and create a to lower, open bracket, and then in there grab the channel. Might have to zoom out, I'm afraid, for that one. This is the annoying thing. It does bug the life out of me when I do this. If I click directly in there and then say get the channel name, okay, now that's great. But when I go to do an expression, and then I want to pick up that actual same one, I don't see it in the list. So how do you get around that? I'll hover over that. So we're just going to have to do it the old-fashioned way, and that is by good old common pressing of many fingers on typewriter. Let me zoom this in so you see what I'm doing. So to lower, open bracket. I'm just going to have to do it via typing items. Get off. Items, and it's called apply underscore to underscore each, question mark, square brackets, and I think it's display name. Oops. We'll soon find out when it crashes. Okay, so I'll get the idea. When I get the outputs, if I haven't spelled that correctly, I can correct that. So if that is equal to, again to lower, I want to grab the channel name. What channel would you like to see? So hopefully it will let me do this. To lower, expression, to lower, open bracket, go to dynamic content and see if it lets me have question. Yeah, there we go. So much easier when you don't have to type that in. Okay. So if there's a match, and there's a match, so the loop would be to does the channel name exist in the channel list? Now, there's many ways I could do this. I could, if it's true, terminate. If not, carry on, blah, 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 blah. Because it's going through a loop, all I really want to do just sort of is pass through a variable at this point. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go up to the top, somewhere around here, and initialize a variable. You can initialize variables at any particular stem, but it's got to be above conditions and loops, so we've got to put them out above and outside of those. So if I do them here, initialize variable, and I'll call it channel exists. Set it as a boolean, and the default value will be false. Marvelous. Okay, so then when I go into the switch case channel, loopy loopy loopy, loops through the channel list. Did you find a match? Yes. Variable. Set the variable and call it true. I want to start false and only set it to true if the variable, if the channel is a match. Otherwise, leave it alone. Right, and then at the end of that, we then check to see if condition, if the channel exists is equal to true. Oops, not the French way. True. Yes, then terminate. So I can do the terminate there. And terminate just stops the flow and then allows you to raise your own message, your own error code if you like. So I'm going to say error code. I don't know, we make them up. So this is real world videos. Let's put in RW 0099 error message, channel requested already exists. If it's not a match, then we start the approval. Bing, bing. So I hope you followed that, because at 2 o'clock in the morning, I didn't. So condition, did we find a channel match? Or does the channel exist in team? So it'd be nice to see if that actually works. And I hope you don't have to wait 5 minutes for this. So I'm going to save this. See if the flow checker picks anything up. If this works without a flow checker error at 2 o'clock in the morning, trust me, it's a fluke. Wow, no error, fluke. Okay, so we need to go in and test it now. So I'm going to go in, do a test. Go into forms and preview the form, fill it in. Team meeting. Good, 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 good. Channel. Now, I do recall I didn't remove Donkey, did I? No, Donkey still exists. And apparently Power App still exists as well. Don't actually put in it. Oh yes, Barry did that one. Okay, so let's do the Donkey again. But let's do it in lowercase. I want to see if it matches, even though I'll put in a lowercase d. Submit. Ignore. And let's wait. Switch. Case channel. It's going through each. Does the channel exist in teams? Yes, it does. It terminated. If we go back to the raise, failed. It's always scary to see that. If I go into there, ding, and the failure comes back there. Channel requested already exists. There's 8 forms in there now. So there you go, there's the true one. Looks like it's the 6th record. There's the Donkey one. Wow, the fact that that actually worked first time. At what time is it now? 20 past 2 in the morning. God. Amazing. Miracle. Okay. So let's go back to the edit. That seems to do it. So I'm just putting in the code that tidies up, make sure the form is checking all the things. I will obviously put in a message into the approve request. So it'll say, please review the channel request made by at and we have done a preliminary check to see if the channel exists. Please look for variances of this channel topic. There we go. So the channel request is that. There's the link to the response if they want to look into detail, blah, blah, blah. Good stuff. Okay. What I really want is for someone else to test it, but I'm not going to be waking up Amanda at this time of the morning. I don't think she'd appreciate it very much. No, definitely let's not wake anyone up. I don't even know why I was thinking that. God, I am tired. But I just want to get this done before I call it quits. Now, this is the beauty of thinking ahead and using scopes. If I'd put all of that into a scope, I could have then copied the scope and pasted it into video. I think a lot of the work that I want to do is similar. However, the video is not actually going to be a team channel. What I would like to do in similar cases is if I would send the video idea for review, and if they approve it, I would like to create a task in my planner. So it's kind of along the same lines. I don't need to go through and loop, but I certainly do need to sort of do a start and wait for an approval. So let's rename that one first, because I'm going to obviously nick that. Start and wait for channel request review. Copy that. Go into the video. And in the clipboard, paste my start and wait for channel request review. Here, guys, this is the importance of renaming them. If I didn't, I'd have two start and wait for unapprovals. One to have a number at the end, but nevertheless, I wouldn't know which one's which. Right, I've done that in there, but there you go, it's done now. So if I go in there and just rename that to start and wait for video request review, put in video topic. Why am I dictating to you what you can see me doing on screen? It's not exactly a great time of airtime, is it? If you want to go and grab yourselves a gun at this point, I have that effect on people. Should fill in the gaps with anecdotes to see if I can think of any while I'm doing this. Nearly finished. In fact, actually, what I'm going to do later on is I'm going to create an Office 365 group and call it approvers rather than use the team itself, because the members can get this email as well. So I'm going to create a new Office 365 group and call it approvers. When you're doing flows, you should be emailing to a role, not a person. So a role, an email address that represents the role, because people change, and I don't want to keep going into flows and taking my name, putting in Barry's, or taking Barry's name out, putting someone else's in. The easier way to do it is to email a group, Office 365 group. So as people change, you just change the name of the person in the group, and then every workflow that needs an approver, and using that approver role will automatically pick up the changes. So I'm being a bit naughty there, I'm using the wrong one, but the idea is that I will create an Office 365 group called approvers. We haven't done that yet because we haven't had an approval process. This Teams is still, this whole process is quite relatively new to us, and our governance has never required it before, shockingly. So please review the video request. I'm just going to make the odd minor changes here. Video request, don't approve it. We haven't done a request to check to see if it exists because we don't care. Video requested. That one. Only difference is I want to pick up, instead of the what channel, it's going to be the what video. There we go. So control condition. Again, if the outcome, but this is on the video request one, so make sure I pick up the right one again. Video request outcome is equal to approve, and send an email, and I am gonna grab the email addresses from over here. I've been dinged. You are watching Paint Dry on BBC Two. Well, this is what you signed up for, wasn't it? Just minutes of silence and typing. Actually, I've got an anecdote. I'll stick this in right here while I'm doing all this copy and pasting and flipping around. I'm not doing anything special here. You can just watch the usual. But I've been with the company I work for now, QA. I've been with them for 22 years. Wow. And back in the old days when I was when the company was, one of the many names it's gone through was ITIQ, and at that time we were owned by a couple of South African guys, really nice guys. But through that influence we had a lot of South African students coming on our courses, and when I was doing a course in Dudley in Birmingham, VB6 Fundamentals it was, wow. Yes it was, and he sat on that course, this lovely South African man, and he put his hand up during the course and said, John, can you give me a stiffy? Looking at the students was my first reaction, and they were looking at each other going, did he ask what I think he did? And I tried to be professional. I didn't want to smirk or laugh or look shocked. I just came out with the first thing, and it was probably the worst thing. I said, what do you want to use it for? I was like, why did I just ask that? Oh my! But his reaction, his response was worse. It was like he said, I just want to take it home and play with it. I was like, what? And at this point, I kind of really wanted the ground to swallow me up. But apparently it turns out that South Africans, what they call a stiffy, we call a floppy disk. There you go. You didn't know that, did you? And if you don't know what a floppy disk is, you probably don't care. It's in those days when floppies were known. There you go. I just thought I'd share that with you. God, this is going to put you to sleep if I think it does. Do not operate heavy machinery while watching this video. There we go. So I better tidy up on the email message as well, because it is a little bit different. And then the same with that one over there. Instead of video, instead of channel would be video, topic, and again the message will not say rejected. It will say we'll put on hold and we'll park it, because we like that. We don't like negativity. Okay, again, this is just one of millions of ways of doing this. Okay, so the next thing to do is, if we do approve it, create the actual task. So I'm going to go into Planner. create a task, wait for it to connect in for me, and while I'm there, just go into the actual planner itself on the general tab. Seems to have gone walkies. Oh no, it's in the add menu. Great. Twazzock. Right. So design and maintenance, there it is. So it's in, I'm going to put it into the planned work. Add it to the planned work. Great. So group ID. Well, if I click on that, it should bring up the Microsoft Office usable environment. Plan ID would be that one. The title will be video, and then grab the name from the user's form. What video? I'm going to put user request in brackets. Bucket ID, that would be the planned work. Start date, that's a interesting one, that. So from the date that this process flow is run, let's say it's got to be due within a month of that. So if we grab okay, nice entry level manipulation of today's date, adding, let's say, I don't know, 7/14/21. Should we do 28 days? Should we do 4 weeks? So the point of raising the video completion date or guideline, I'll call it a due date guidelines, is 4 weeks from. So let's do an add days brackets UTC now, which is today's date, comma, and we want to add 7/28 days. Okay, so we're going to grab the UTC now as the timestamp that we'll be putting, which is the current date that when the flow runs. Add those days, and that should then bring back the correct timestamp of that time. Assign user IDs. Should I add a user to them? No. Let's keep it open and let the users, let the owners pick up the task when they got the time. I could put the start date as a UTC now. I could get even clever with this. With the approval, I could pass, or I could store some data. So within the approval, I could actually punch through. They could set a recommended date, a recommended start date and end date, and I can pull that into the task in the planner. I think that would do. I'm going to save that. So there you go. I've now got my form responding to channels, which is then creating a channel in a team, and then videos, and all this is doing is just adding a task to the planner. Let's give that a go and see if that works, shall we? So I'm going to perform the trigger myself. There comes another form. Let's say team meeting. Let's randomly pick some randomly thingies. Do a video. What should we do a video on, folks? How to create a team meeting. There we go. So I picked video. The response was submitted. Let's go back to the flow, see if that's processed. Switch. Now gone to the case video. Expand, and it's now processed an approval request. So let's go into my email. Gooding. There we go. Right. Excellent. Hello. 11:39. So I have had to pause that video because it took over 10 minutes for some bizarre reason for that approval to come in. It's come in, but it's come up with a very dodgy date because it's 1:52 now, and I dropped that in about 1:40. Which is, never mind. These things happen. So I'm going to go in there and just approve that. So that's the video channel. How to create a team meeting. Happy with that. Excellent. Submit. If I go back to that flow now. There we go. So was it approved? Yes. It's all done. Fantastic. Happy with that. So if I now go and go back into my Teams, that should go in the Z admin channel. There we go. There's my planner. That's a good start. Oh, dearie me. The beauty of live. Error loading, user settings. Okay, please try again. If this continues, please contact customer support. No, not likely. Last time I contacted customer support was 2018. I'm still waiting for a response. Right. Okay, let's see if I can open that up in the planner in Office, because it's not kicking in. I'm having a bit of a nightmare. Maybe it's just a way for it to tell me to go to sleep. Get planner up. So I can still get in there. So mouse and design and maintenance, 25th. Yep, that's today. What's going on? Oh, it is 27th. I'm going mad. It is 27th. Today, Sunday, isn't it? Oh, Monday morning. Yeah. So okay, happy with that. So finishes 25th of May. I definitely am. Need to get to some sleep. Right. Okay. I think I'm going to call it quits there, because it looks like that's worked. It has created the task in planner. Happy with that. Could have done some extra things. Okay, it's worked. I'm happy with that. So at this particular point, I'm going to go back in the edit. I'm just going to sort of save the flow and go to bed. Right. Well, that was an experience, wasn't it? So thank you for staying awake during that one. Or if you have fallen asleep, good morning. The thing is, I've now kind of wrapped that one up, and obviously I've got a lot of work to do to get these improved, but I don't want to drag you through anymore. I think I've suffered enough. My next step now in the next video is to start creating the booking system for meeting sessions, people coming into meetings and doing some online training, virtual training through Teams meetings. So that'd be quite complex. That's going to take a few videos, and I'm trying to keep these videos to 30 minutes or less. I don't want to, as I said before, do 2-hour videos. That's just extreme. So I'm going to try and chop them into a maximum of 30 minutes. But bear in mind, I am doing a live project, so I can't really do it any shorter than that, to be honest. So there we go. That's a nice little wrap up, and I think we've done for that survey form now. So we'll call it quits. Let's park it and let's go back to good old-fashioned tutorial waffly videos. Have a good evening, everyone. Have a good night, have a good morning, have a good day, and I'll see you on the next video. Stay safe, have fun.